Let me show you some of the first things that we can do on Realme GT 7T. So if you are right after the initial configuration, the first thing that you can do is check notifications, because you might see this notification over here from Android setup, where we can finish setting up our device. Most of the time, if we go over here, we have pretty similar steps and that we can see during the initial configuration. So for example, if you use two SIM cards, you have the mobile data preference, call preference, and messaging preference, and then we can set up the phone using another device. So essentially we can copy settings and accounts, etc. So you can go through these options once again in case you decided to skip it during the initial configuration. And yeah, so pretty much everything you have seen in the initial configuration, most likely you will also see it over here. So you can go through the settings once again in order to, for example, set up something that you didn't set up during the first setup. The next thing that we can do is go to settings, and over here scroll all the way down and go to system and update, and then we want to go to system navigation in order to choose the desired navigation method. So we have buttons or gestures. If you want to use gestures, if you select it over here, then you have the opportunity to learn gestures, so the phone can teach you how to properly use them, so that you at least know how to make it work. Over here below we have some additional options that we can go through in order to configure the navigation. For example, in the case of button layout, we can change the button order over here. Next, the next thing that we can do is sign into our Google account. Now, I assume that you have already logged into your account during the initial configuration. However, perhaps you actually skipped this screen, or you need more accounts to log into on your phone. So if you do, then in that case, we need to open users and accounts over here. Then we can press add account. And of course, over here, you want to choose Google, and then you can sign into your new or additional accounts pretty much. After that, once that is done, next we can go to security and privacy, and in this case we can go to device unlock in order to find some options related to the password of our phone. So for example, you can create the screen lock password over here, and once you do that, you can also set up biometrics, so either fingerprint or face unlock, or of course both. You can use both of them at the same time. We also have some anti-theft features, such as the theft protection option over here, where you can enable the theft detection lock, offline device lock, remote lock, and we also have the Find Hub, which is Find My Device. Of course, in order to make it work, we also have to use location pretty much all the time. If we disable location, if we turn it off on this phone, then of course our phone won't be, we won't be able to track it. Besides that, if we go back to security and privacy, if we scroll down to more security and privacy, then over here you should be able to find anti-theft features, where we have the anti-theft alarm, which allows you to be alerted when, for example, charging is interrupted, when headphones are removed, or when the SIM card is removed. And let me actually disable this, as I don't need it. And below over here we also have the password requirement when we turn off our phone. So when you try to power off the device, you will be always asked to enter the screen lock password. Besides that, we also can do the same thing for location and network settings, which can be quite crucial as well, especially if you use Find My Device, because other person, like for example, if someone finds our phone, or so when we lose it, or when our phone is stolen, then someone might not be able to turn off the location, so we can still track our phone and we can find out where it is. Now, after that, what we can do next is we can actually go back to the system settings, and if we go to system and update, over here we have the software update, where we can check for updates, of course, and if there is a new update available, then you have the option to download it, install it, and of course you pretty much always want to use the latest, the newest version of the operating system. So remember to check it out in order to make your phone be up to date. And of course we also have apps update as well. But before we do that, actually what you can also do is uninstall bloatware. So if you have some apps that have been pre-installed on your phone, even though you don't really need them, then of course you can try to get rid of them. So for example, I have such apps as TikTok, or this weather app over here, that I can easily uninstall because I don't really need them. And then once we do that, if we go to the Play Store, over here in the top right corner, when we tap on our profile, we can go to notifications, sorry, not notifications, my bad, to manage apps and a device. And over here, as you can see, we have the information about updates waiting for apps. You can tap on this option in order to see the list of apps that can be updated. And you can either update one by tapping on update, or you can press update all over here in the top right corner. In my case, it is cancel all because I have some updates running. There we go. So you can also just tap over here on the update button once it appears over here. And yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of updating apps. Another thing that is quite important, I think, for many people is the automatic screen brightness or the screen brightness in general. So in the settings, we can go to display and brightness. And over here, we have settings related to brightness. You can manually adjust the brightness. You can use the automatic screen brightness, and there is also extra brightness that you can use. Besides that, we also have the light and the dark mode. We can also create a schedule so that the phone can switch between these modes at a given time. And of course, if we scroll down, we also have the screen refresh rate option, where I believe by default we use auto select. So most of the time we actually use 120 Hz of screen refresh rate. But if you want to, you can force 120 Hz so that you always use it by setting this option to high. Now, once you go through these display and the brightness settings, another quite important feature, I think, that can be quite annoying is the wallpaper carousel, which is a feature that changes the wallpaper on the lock screen. And personally, I'm not a fan of this feature, so you can go to home screen and lock screen and scroll down in order to find this wallpaper carousel. In my case, it is deactivated, so I have to activate it again. But essentially, if you want to have just one wallpaper of your choice, then you can disable this option over here, show wallpaper carousel, and then press not now over here. And of course, in addition to that, you can also just deactivate the wallpaper carousel completely. So then you shouldn't be bothered with different wallpapers. And then what we can also do is go to battery settings, because in here we have several options that can be quite useful when enabled. Most importantly, if we go to battery health, we can find two main options for battery optimization, and that is smart charging and charging limit. Charging limit allows you to charge the phone only to 80%, and smart charging allows you to keep the battery at 80% for most of the time, but after some time, if the phone learns your charging patterns, when the phone can predict that you are about to unplug the charger in, let's say, half an hour, then the phone can start charging it again, and you can charge the phone back to 100%. So this option is especially useful if you have a charging pattern, if you always charge your phone, let's say at night, or you have a specific time of the day where you start charging your phone. So you can use this option. On the other hand, if you want to keep your battery in a healthy state for as long as possible, then you might consider using this option instead. You cannot use both at the same time, you have a choice one or the other. Besides that, we also have power saving settings, so you can go through them as well in order to decide if you actually want to use them or not. And I think that's pretty much it. These are crucial settings, I believe at least, that can be done first before we start doing anything with our phone. And you can also consider adjusting some notifications if they are quite annoying. One of these apps that can be quite annoying is, or are actually, Theme Store, App Market, and the Phone Manager. So in that case, if you are bothered with some notifications, you can go to the app settings, open app management, and over here you can find these apps that have those notifications. Or you can also go to let's see, I believe, yeah, it was here, notifications and quick settings, and then here we can find app notifications by most recent. So as you can see over here, we have the theme store, so you can disable it if you don't want to be bothered. And the same goes with some other apps that may appear in notifications, but that's of course up to you. So that's pretty much it. If you found this video helpful, you can leave a like and subscribe. If there is something that I missed, you can mention it in the comments so that others won't miss. And that's all.